All right, chat. Are you all ready for a good demonstration? Thank you, everyone, for popping by to check out the Puppet Combo Speedrun Showcase. This is Sinith coming in just to say thank you, first off, to Tim Trollgasm for putting this together with all of his friends. Huge shout outs to Tim. Obviously, Pleasantly GG, who's going to be our first runner. Diggity Ding Dog, who's going to be also running. Zomslays, another runner, and then Mild, one of the commentators. So enjoy the showcase, and this is just a small taste of what's to come for our October fall charity run. So hopefully some of these guys come back for that, which the applications are still open over on Angus. So go to Angus. I can throw the link in chat when I get a chance. But yeah, let's get these guys going here in just a moment. I will just transition you in, and then however you guys want to introduce it, let me know how to count it in so that I can start the timer
Yeah,
for you
yeah, I'll give you
and
the
when
heads
to
up.
end. Yeah. Otherwise, just keep language clean. And yeah, all good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so transition here in 5.
All right, are we good? So, first game we have here. My name is Pleasantly GG, and I'm gonna be playing Babysitter Bloodbath. This game is. It's funny we start off with this game because it is a Puppet Combo game made by Puppet Combo, but before they were Puppet Combo. So, just a heads up, this intro was going to be kind of loud. But I will give you the heads up when to start time. I'll give you a countdown. So, let's go. Oh, Tim Trollgasm and Zom Slays are going to be helping me commentate on this run. It's pretty straightforward. Let's go.
I'm Zom Slays.
Pig Farmer Games. Obnoxious intro. So she's gonna go up to the door. There's gonna be a black screen, and I'll count down from 3. So, 3, 2, 1, go. This first part is just basically going to be choosing dialogue that gives us the least amount of text. So, that starts with choosing the bottom one, and then the top one. Gonna be zooming. There is strafing in this game, so it's kind of wonky. We're gonna go upstairs. You can walk into black screens a little bit. Whoa. Grab this remote control. We're gonna go back downstairs. We are going to grab Billy's dinner, which is some milk and some cereal. And then turn on, yeah, very great dinner. Turn on the TV for Billy. That will activate a phone call, which is just a bunch of gibberish. But I'll let you enjoy it.
You sit in your ivory tower. Don't you judge me, I see it all.
I'm gonna pick up the phone again to try to place my cursor somewhere over the next piece of dialogue I have to click. See how close I got? Oh, kind of close. She's telling us about she left a number in our coat from a guy that we met at a mall. So we're gonna go to our coat, snatch this up, but Billy took it. So this is an interesting part. You actually have to catch him. And luckily I did it immediately because it can be kind of finicky. The number was 555-9124. 555-9124. Okay. This old boy from the mall. He's just drinking and smashing stuff, tipping cows and stuff. We're gonna go in the living room. He's watching TV. We're gonna talk to him. We're asking him where his parents keep the alcohol. So we're gonna make him some cereal, and for some reason he's gonna give us the key. We're gonna go upstairs.
So if you hadn't guessed by now, this game is about being a babysitter, and you'll soon find out when the killer comes into play.
So we just grab the alcohol there. We're gonna go into the living room. Old Billy is passed out. We're gonna bring him up to his bed. And just about this time, we're gonna have a visitor. Which is old boy we met from the mall. Oh, I kind of spoiled that. It was a little too early, sorry.
Oh, Jack.
Oh, Jack. Silly Jack. So, during this black screen, I'm actually scrolling through a lot of dialogue, and then I start moving after a certain point. Oh, I thought so. It kind of took a little bit longer than it felt. Hit this trigger. Something broke in the backyard. Talk to Jack. Yo, I'm scared. I need some help. We're going to be patient and wait on him to come back here. Right here, I'm going to do something to where I try to go out there with him to despawn the killer, because he is very random and can mess you up a lot. So I'm going to interact with him. Oh. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to do that.
So the thing with that is you gotta like be really quick about interacting the second time and then getting out that door before Jack gets in front of you.
Yep. So we're gonna go out here. We heard Jack yell. We're gonna grab this axe. And Jack is on the wall. He's okay though.
Hey.
Weird little scene here, very interesting. We're gonna spam click. Go back inside. Billy's like, yo, I'm out. So we're gonna go upstairs.
The interesting thing about the killer is he can kind of just spawn anywhere. And so you can have instances where he'll just spawn behind you when you're opening that hatch.
Yeah.
Or you'll open the door. in this basement that we've just gone to, and it would just be waiting for you.
It's really dark down here, but
Yes.
hopefully he's gonna pop through this door. I do it. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're gonna be a little safe here.
That marathon luck.
Yep, marathon look. Really dark here, but I'm opening up a door and I'm back in the kitchen, and we're gonna go back outside to where we grab the axe. Oop, he just spawned again.
Playing today, is he?
Okay, go over to the shed. Right here is, you're supposed to have a flashlight, but that's slow. So this is a complete dark part where you hopefully don't mess it up. Grab the gasoline can, turn around.
That was really good.
And here we're gonna fill up the car with gas. You are only 3 hits. I already took 1 hit, so I only have 2 hits for this boss fight. Time ends when this boss fight dies.
GG.
I
Good
choked.
try. Good try.
That was the basis of the run. But that was Babysitter Bloodbath without finishing the boss fight. I knew that was gonna happen.
Oh no.
GG.
But we have Feed Me Billy next, so I hope you all enjoyed that little showcase of the glitchless run for that. Even though I died, not much else to the story. It's just
Yeah,
he dies.
the bad thing about some of these games is that there's no save,
no save.
checkpoints.
Yeah,
So
it's
if you
kind
die, you're starting to run from the beginning.
yeah, you started from the very beginning. So.
Really, all this then was the boss falling over, and yeah, so it was literally like seconds away from ending.
my audio kind of drained before going live because stream delays are fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
All right. So we'll just say 10 seconds from right now.
All right, so I think we're good. Yeah, so this would be the second game. I'm sorry about the ringing, but Feed Me Billy. It starts off with a pretty big glitch. We call this the inventory glitch, and basically what this allows us to do is walk through cutscenes. And the reason I explain this right now is because it happens 2 seconds into the run. So first thing we do is we change our filters to the PSX. It looks the nicest. And then time starts on first movement. So I'm going to unpause and I'll give a little countdown. So 3, 2, 1, go. Grab this mask, Z. The reason I can see right now is because Ben, bless you man, put a mechanic in the game that takes away the black screens during loads. So I don't know if you saw right there, but I had like a half second where I could see and jump around. I'm currently jumping around right now through the cutscene. So there's 2 of me spawning right here. I grab this lady. She's very nice.
That was kind of good. That was kind of a good blind.
I go back here. We had like a date planned or something like that. Go back to the truck. Load the truck. Again, this is where P comes into place. We're gonna press P and we can see where she's placed in the truck. And it lets us see when we're loading in and stuff. So, bam, grab her. And we got a buddy back here. We're gonna toss her in there. That's her bed. That's the end of day 1. That inventory glitch where you're going blind, that's the only time it happens. So everything else is pretty normal.
That blind is huge. It's a huge skip in the game because you can skip most of that cutscene. Like normally you wouldn't be moving during that cutscene, but during that whole section we were moving towards the girl to kill her. It's a massive thing.
Got stuck there. There's a little trick here. If you shoot your gun fast enough, sometimes it just becomes fully automatic. The fully automatic 6-shooter. So we're gonna come in here, and these guys were also doing a sleepover, and I'm just helping them. Drank too much or something. Come over here, jump over some bushes. Toss them all in there. Take a peek. They are looking lovely back there.
They look great.
They look great. Yep. Pick them up very gently. Cool. That is day 2.
Those corpse placements, when you put them in the truck, can be kind of random. We've had, I think, a few times the corpse just falling out the back of the truck, which, of course, if that happens, you just reset the run because you got to walk all the way around the truck to pick them up.
Yeah,
it's completely random.
The bodies are very random. They can also turn into crawlers. So you have to put another shot into them. So there's a lot of little tiny aspects to this game that are random when it comes down to the nitty-gritty time saves. So one more time.
Sometimes they just start running away in the campsite, and you gotta go chase after him.
They didn't want to give me that gun.
Yeah, that was nice too.
Press P so I can see.
That from here.
I'm gonna hold a right strafe and then do that off rip. We're gonna go over here. I've actually been working on doing something different here where I press R instead of using my scroll wheel. So say hi. Oh. Hello.
Look at that corpse. What the hell?
We were gonna go
His
for the
head
jump.
is
We didn't
just-
get the jump. It's just like a 0.3 second time save over the trailers. Jump over these bushes. Oh, hello. Didn't want to get in. One more time. These are some weird bodies, but we'll be fine. He's kicking that leg, doing a stinky leg.
Hopefully you can reach that.
Oh,
yeah.
grab both of these. Oh, real nice lady. Bam. After all done, pops up on the screen. 3, 2, 1, and that's time.
Nice. That was actually a good run. There is code in the game that explicitly makes. I don't know if you noticed when he was picking up the bodies, they were just getting all mangled and distorted. There is specific code in the game to make that happen. It's not a glitch for some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why he decided to include that. If you keep picking them up, they get more and more distorted over time.
That's it. I didn't know that. But yeah, GG, that was Feed Me Billy, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good dude.
Okay. Well, I'm ready whenever.
I will give this another like 10 seconds. And yeah, and if y'all are ready, then I'll just count in right now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So starting now, we'll do 10 seconds.
Alright, hello, I am Diggity. I spoke during the last run, but I'm going to be running Bloodwash here. Bloodwash is one of the more popular games of Puppet Combo. Well, technically Puppet Combo didn't develop it, but it's under the same umbrella. It's quite a good run. It's got some more. It's got more tech than a lot of Puppet Combo games. And alongside me, I'm going to have Zom and Mild commentating.
I'm Zomslays. Hope everybody's
Mild.
doing well.
Yeah, mild. One of the first things that you're gonna see, like right at the start of the run, you can bind scroll wheel to interact. So whenever you interact with things or you're going through the dialogue, you can just spin your scroll wheel, and pretty much as fast as your scroll wheel will spin, that's how fast you can interact with things. So at the start, when you're supposed to pick up the 5 pieces of clothing off your apartment floor, you can flick your mouse across the first shirt while spinning your scroll wheel, and it'll count as all 5 of them. That's the ideal outcome. Normally you'll get like 2 or 3, but sometimes you can do it fast enough and you can get the very first one to pick up, so you can just exit the apartment immediately.
Hopefully I'll get 2 or 3, that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so we'll see that in a second, but time starts in 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait. Yeah. It's about here, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go through this. Oh, didn't get it there. Oh, there. Okay, so when the dialogue pops up, I know that I've got all 5 shirts and I can make my way out of the apartment. So there, I only picked up 3, but I had to pick up 5. So that's how you know that I got the skip. So yeah, now I'm going down the building. I'm strafing by holding both or forward and a side direction at the same time. It's kind of an old speedrunning tech that a lot of games have because they count the directions differently. So I'm moving both forward and simultaneously and sideways simultaneously. So I'm moving double the speed. I can show that in a second when we have to wait. So yeah, this game is it's a game that has a lot of waiting in it. You can see here scroll wheel is really nice to interact with the text there. So this
Usually
game
you
is
have to click through individually.
Yeah, because normally you have to spam through just by clicking a mouse or something. Very annoying. But yeah, this game has very long waits in it. So this game is actually modded. Oh, double interact there. This game is modded to skip some of it. Notably the washer and dryer in the plaza. And we'll see that in a second. But just to demonstrate here, because this is another waiting sequence. We have to wait for the bus and the car to come in. So you can see here, if I just walk forward, this is the normal walking speed, and if I sprint, it's a bit faster. But how I'm moving is strafing, so I'm moving forwards and diagonally at the same time, and you can see this is much faster. And that's why I'm looking this way the whole time I'm running. But yeah, this is the car, and then we're waiting for a bus to come in through here.
You could see something else whenever he entered the lobby area. Whenever you scroll fast enough on doors, you can sometimes interact with them, multiple times. So you get to enter and exit like little cutscenes multiple times.
It's similar to
which
this.
it does slow you down. Yeah.
Because I'm scrolling, I'm going through the text box so fast that I'm interacting with it again after. Normally I just want to scroll 3 times here, for example. But if I do it too fast, then I can just interact multiple times, as Mild said. Yeah, this is like a 45-second wait. When I get on the bus, there's going to be another waiting moment, and then the creepy guy, as we call him, is going to try and sit down next to us. And when he is talking to us, we're going to have our camera locked on him. We can avoid having that by doing a cool trick where you look at the window, interact with it, and then quickly spin your head around to look at him before he can lock your camera, and then you have your free camera looking around, and then while that's happening, you can look at the door and then interact with it to exit. It kind of happens quickly, and I might not get it, because scroll wheel lets you interact with the dialogue so fast. It's such a blessing. But hopefully you'll see it in a second. So I'll be looking here when he walks in here. That's the creepy guy.
Exiting the bus is another one that's notorious about overlapping the scenes where you get it multiple times if you do it too quickly.
Yeah, if you look
You
closely
flick
enough,
over
you can
too
see
quick.
it. So he's gonna come up here. I'm looking at the window. Oh, I didn't get it that time, but yeah, that was just really buggy because blood wash, because puppet combo. But yeah, this is another intro sequence. In the plaza, what we'll have to do is we'll have to wash our clothes first. That takes 8 minutes, and then dry them, which I think takes 14 minutes. Maybe it's the other way around. But during that time, when you're playing casually, you might like walk around the plaza, interact with people, do the side quests, get collectibles, all that sort of thing. But all of that is optional. The speed run involves interacting with the washer, waiting for 8 minutes, getting your clothes, going to the dryer, interacting with it, waiting for 14 minutes, and then getting your clothes again, and then continuing the run. That's not fun to do. Tim, who was commentating earlier, did runs without a mod to skip it all, and it's just grueling. I actually have soft lock sometimes after waiting all 20 minutes, which is it's not very good. Especially because Blood Wash, if you click off the game, it'll stop being focused, and it would like pause the game completely, including the timers. So what we do is we have a mod that just sets those timers to like 2 seconds instead of 8 minutes, which makes it much more bearable. When I go into the laundromat here, I have to interact with the coin machine, and that'll be a small sequence where I am moving blindly being there's a black screen. You can see here I'm moving even though it was a black screen. Interact with the dryer or washer. So that right there normally takes 8 minutes, but we made it 2 seconds. There we go. Now we're gonna see the pause buffer come into play. If you guys want to explain that.
Yeah, so the pause buffer, you're meant to see a cutscene and like the screen go black and everything, and the guy fall out of the ceiling.
Hang on, I'm gonna quickly load the
Speaking
chapter.
of which,
I think I soft lock. Bloodwash soft locks very often. Here we go.
Yeah,
Continue.
you can pretty much soft lock on anything in the game, with the scroll wheel especially, but just like going through the scene sometimes soft locks you. But yeah, you pause buffer there so you can essentially skip the little cutscene and move around. And you're gonna see it again here in a second with the Womb Ripper. When she pops up, you can do it there so you can get through that cutscene without having to sit there and watch the entire thing, so you can get to the key faster. You pretty much do it as soon as you turn that corner right there. That's where her scene starts.
Jesus.
Oh. Sometimes you can go out into the hallway much faster, like before the cutscene ends. But there, I actually interact with the door that I just walked out of, so that I had to go back through. But now there's just a little sequence where I have to walk to the end, and then this happens. I can pause buffer again to gain control here, and then walk to the end. Then we have a little.
And you actually have to walk through there every single time. Like, you can't get that to happen without going to look at the vent. You can actually pause buffer at the end of this little vent scene as well. It doesn't do anything for you, but you can move around.
At the end of the sequence, the Womb Ripper comes out, tries to stab you. Here, if I pause buffer, I can just walk away.
Goodbye.
That little cutscene here. That's what this game does best. Just cutscene after cutscene. Oh, look at the blood particles. It's over her foot. On the floor.
Not the patron.
No, not the patron.
It's funny. Before, like, one of the first few updates, you could actually get out of the building here. They didn't have the chains over the doors, but in the later patches, he added the chains to the doors so you can't actually get out anymore.
So here I'm gonna have to. There's gonna be a sequence where you're gonna be locked in a room, and the Wind Reaper is gonna try and chase after you, and you have to open up this file cabinet. But you have to move this file cabinet to interact with the door. But we can actually just look behind the door and interact with it early, which I think is super cool. The fact that you can just look behind the door and skip that whole section. There's meant to be a whole cutscene there and everything. Do you guys want to explain the blind corpse? Because I don't know.
So when you interact here, it goes black. The screen goes completely black, and the key spawns as soon as the screen turns black. So if you hover over in the right position, you can pick up the key and then walk out into the hallway, and you can almost get to the door like as the fade-in happens with the key in your hand, and pretty much skip that entire like fading to black cutscene.
Yeah, but that's if you're good, because I didn't get it there. I had to wait there to get it. There's no audio cue or anything.
Small, yeah. It's so
Definitely
small. Like you just have to hope you picked it up whenever you start moving.
Yeah.
Right.
So here we're gonna get the gun, and we're gonna enter the final boss fight. Oh my god, scroll wheel. We're gonna enter the final boss fight, which is notorious in this game for being just all RNG. You can have a run like I did a couple days ago, where you're minus 30 going into it, and then end up like plus 30 coming out of it. It is a bit loud, so that's just a heads up. You know, as all Puppet games are. So I have a DLL for this game, or a mod, sorry, that makes it a bit more bearable. That's only for marathon purposes. The Wind Reaper can spawn in any one of 7 places in the basement area, but we forced her to spawn in this area here for this marathon. That's the optimal spawn for her. We want to shoot her 4 times. What she does is when she gets shot, as you can hear, she's running off to a random spot on the map. So entirely random, any point on the map. And you can't move until she reaches that point. So now we're just running around trying to find her as quickly as you can. As you can imagine, the optimal strat for this is just to get a really good RNG and have her move like basically nowhere. Am I in a loop? Of course, that's
in that very first section, you can shoot her up to 3 times before she starts moving, and that's like best case scenario, you know? Like,
yeah, but we don't understand that at the moment, which is really sad. We don't know how to force that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it just sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't.
No, I don't think so.
I
think I just missed. But here we go. Time comes up in a bit. So 3, 2, 1. There we go. And that's Bloodwash. We don't do the epilogue because that's extra content that's in the 100% run. So yeah, here it's revealed that the Wind Reaper was actually Samantha.
Makes sense now.
I think.
Lewis
And
kept...
she wants to like take babies because she had a miscarriage or something. It's crazy.
GG.
It was Samantha.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pretty
After
decent run.
locked her in the
All
laundromat
things
and burned
considered.
it down.
I did soft lock
She
after
survived.
what was it? I did soft lock.
Going
soft
to
lock
Officer
it off the
Burden, yeah.
Yeah. I almost.
if you didn't soft lock at least once on Bloodwash, though, I mean, is it really
Yeah,
Bloodwash?
would it even be Bloodwash? Like, come on. At least this game has chapter select, so that I can just skip to the middle. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
Bloodwash.
It's one of the few that has that, you know?
She must have lost her baby, though.
Okay, I think we're good.
She...
waiting for the stream.
Got you.
That's smart.
And yeah, I'll just mute up and we'll go in 13 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Slays, and I hope you're doing well tonight. I'll be running 2 games for you, and the first of which is Meat Cleaver Mutilator. Before we get started here, I'll give you guys a little bit of a background story. You play as Janet. She's an actress who got kidnapped, and she woke up in an abandoned department store, which more so looks like a Walmart, and we have to escape. We'll be solving various puzzles and things like that, and I hope you guys enjoy. And I'd like to introduce my couch, Pleasantly Gigi, and Mild Goth Daddy.
Hello.
So, time starts on first movement, so I'll count down 3, 2, 1, and we're off. So, we've officially entered the department store. I was standing there for a bit, so the killer is probably already wandering around. And as you guys know, like most Puppet Combo games, the killer is very large and probably roaming around the map. So hopefully things go smooth for me. Now, the first puzzle that we have here takes place on the 5th floor. And there's 5 floors to this building along with 2 sides. So you need to head up to the 5th floor and drop down to a 3rd floor, which you can only access from the 5th floor. Or 4th floor, I should say. And your first item that you need to pick up is the hammer. We're going to take the hammer, run down these hallways, enter the bathroom, pick up the rubber glove.
Might notice that he's doing a lot of jumps. What he's doing in between these jumps is letting go of his sprint, and you actually carry momentum. Even if you're not holding shift, you carry your sprint momentum, and you gain back your stamina. So it's strictly just stam management, what he's doing here with the jumps.
Right, now, some doors here are locked, so you actually have to interact with certain doors, and it's kind of interesting because sometimes I'll still run into them because the regular doors you can just run right through, but some doors are actually locked and you actually have to interact with them, so it's interesting. Now,
And you get through the doors faster if you go through like the proper way. So
right.
They're interesting doors. Continue, sorry.
Now, what you just saw me do there, I used the rubber glove that we picked up in the bathroom to pick up a key out of the toilet. And how I got into the bathroom there involved a glitch that I'll have Plez and Mild explain.
I can do it. I think I found this. It is just you ADS, and it messes with your character model a little bit. You ADS, you do a quick crouch, and it keeps your character model standing up, but your hitbox is a crouch. So you go through the hole, and it kind of just looks like a little phase, but you keep the running speed.
So that's the same thing you'll do with the vent in a little bit, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
The vent is similar in that way, but to keep your upward, speed, you have to spam jump. You can get trapped in the crouch, so it can help out a little bit or it can help out a lot, just depending on how lucky you get with the spam.
Another thing that the aiming system in this game can do is if you use it while you're jumping, you can it'll reset your jump, so you get the upward jump, but it doesn't actually count as you jumping, so you can jump again. Doesn't really help anywhere, but it's neat little thing you can do with your.
Definitely. So what you just saw me do right there was another glitch found by Pleasantly, which was the electrical wires jump. If somebody wants to explain that, that'd be great.
Yeah, there's like a little a ledge, almost like an invisible ledge on the side that you can hop on. You can clear the entire thing, I'm pretty sure, or you can die close enough to the door that it respawns you on that side. But there is like that little ledge that you can almost always hit and jump on to get across. And what it does is it saves us from having to go all the way into the basement, having to flip some switches. This is like a switch puzzle, you know. And, it saves us from having to go all the way down. We can just go where we need to go.
So essentially what's going on there is pretty much a horrible glitch that happens where the killer will spawn not where he's supposed to spawn. And he kind of spawned early, as you saw there, and ended up twisting around back on me, and I wasted my ammo, and he killed me. Now, there is a live system in this game, but since you use all your ammo, you're pretty much out of luck there. So that would be the second run with a death tonight. So you can stop time now, and we'll switch games right now to Nun Massacre coming up.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing. That was the end of the run. All you had to do.
then we'll go.
Got you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and this is probably a game you're familiar with, and if not, this is Nun Massacre, and I'm ZomSlays. You might have seen me stream this game on my main channel from time to time, but I have top times in pretty much every category. I've played this game for way longer than I ever should have, but today we'll be playing Nun Massacre Any% Glitchless. So, it's going to be a little bit of a longer run than you're used to for Nun Massacre, because Nun Massacre runs are about under a minute now. But, let's hope for a better run than MCM, shall we? I have Mild on the couch with me for some support. Mild's going to be asking me some questions, explaining a few things here or there. Welcome, Mild.
Hello.
So, we're going to skip ahead here because the prologue is long and unnecessary, and you guys don't want to see that. So, we'll load in here, and much like Pleasantly did in his run, we're going to turn the CRT off and switch to the PSX filter. Mostly because it's way easier to see, especially in a game like Nun, where it's very dark. But time starts on first movement, so we'll just count down on 3, 2, 1, go. So, the first thing you're going to see me do here is jump over some barbed wire, which a lot of people have trouble with and always ask me about. They say, Zom, how do you do that? I can never jump through the barbed wire there. It just takes practice. That's a very interesting trick, for sure. So, in Nun Massacre, you play as Miss McDonald, and Miss McDonald gets a letter in the mail that her daughter is sick at her boarding school. We arrive at her boarding school and end up trapped by a killer nun and have to escape. And much like MCM, we'll be solving several puzzles, and I'll be explaining some things along the way. So, the first of our puzzles here is you just see me in vents traveling very slowly, but we'll be picking up 5 mannequin parts. Now, we have 2 here, and we'll be moving around the map to collect other mannequin parts, other tools to get other parts, things like that. So, let me continue here. Now, that's a very interesting jump. I was actually practicing earlier, and I would miss that like every single time. So, that's an interesting one for sure. You don't want to go too far into this room because that door can lock, and you'll just be locked in there for like a standard like 10 seconds or so, something like that. So basically, what you just saw me do there was cut the power to the fan, and we're going to move through the fan and head into the kitchen, where pretty much the rest of the mannequin parts are, besides one. Now, fair warning, headphone users, be aware. Definitely be aware. Now,
Nun is one of the loudest puppet combo games.
It's right on par with Babysitter Bloodbath for sure.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that, so definitely be aware. Now, we're going to be putting all those parts on the scale, and we're going to be retrieving a cog to fix the clock. And I'll explain later why we need to fix the clock, but for now, we're just collecting a few more items here. So you just saw me pick up a screwdriver and a VHS tape. And the nun is right there. So let's not deal with that. We don't want any of her doings. None of that. Farewell. Okay, as I was saying, we're going to be picking up a VHS tape and a hammer and a paperclip. So our inventory is pretty full right now. And we're on the 2nd floor. And we're going to be using this hammer. And this is the only time you'll be using the hammer to take apart this door here. Now, this is a very common puzzle in all types of PC games. You'll probably see this puzzle very often. And what's behind that door is a drain cleaner. We'll be using that drain cleaner to clean a drain, of course. But I'll explain more once we get there. Now, here, you're gonna see me unscrew this vent. And this is the vent we'll be escaping from. But we don't want to leave yet, so we'll just leave this for later. And obviously, we can't carry around the screwdriver like the whole time because you only have 3 inventory slots. So we do that now so we can just ditch the screwdriver. And the nun is actually very close. She's either below me or above me. I'm not sure. There she is. I might die here. Please don't die here. Please don't die here.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing on the screen. Every time the static appears everywhere, that's the nun. She can either be like close to you where she could actually get to you, or she could be above or below you. It'll still give you the static, but it's just to notify you that she's within a certain distance of you, you know.
Correct. Well said. Well said. So,
and that's one thing you got to worry about throughout the entire run. Like, she's roaming throughout the halls, you know, so you have to watch out for her, and she could just, like, he was at the vent there, you know, can't really get away from her, so.
Yes, lots of awkward parts that she'll just be at, and it's just not good at all. So, we're pretty much nearing completion. We have the cog, we've gotten all the mannequin parts, we're finally about to use the drain cleaner. We've arrived at the drain. What's in there? Who knows? Let's find out. What's in the drain is a hex key. And we're going to use the hex key to unlock a door and fix the clock. Now, we're going to go to the floor below the drain cleaner, pick up the hex key, head back upstairs to that very same floor, and use this hex key. Now, that trick's kind of funny, because for a while it wasn't known like how to pick locks in this version of Nun Massacre, and it's kind of funny the solution that we came up with, but the solution is just to spam, and it'll pretty much work every time. But we fixed the clock. We're gonna head back downstairs. And you're going to be able to turn that clock 2 ways, left or right. And you want to turn it to the right because it opens the door to the school, which is upstairs. So you want to head down to the kitchen, go up into the school, and it'll be on the 4th floor. So all these other doors are locked, as you see. And you'll be on the 5th floor. The school is kind of an interesting layout. It's not the greatest layout to learn, but once you do, it's not bad. So in here, we're going to pick up another VHS tape. And the point of all these VHS tapes are to basically use them to watch a bunch of scary movies and be scared. But what it really does is you'll be able to pick up a cross to pretty much levitate and escape this horrible boarding school. So now we're pretty much leaving. The nun's right there. Hurry up, put that tape in. Please don't follow me. So we're pretty much on the home stretch here. Now, this is a pretty good talking point. We'll be able to discuss a few things because we have a pretty far vent travel here. Now, sometimes these vents can get confusing, but once you play around in them for a bit, they're relatively simple to understand. And
for me, like that's the hardest part of this is learning the layout of this whole school and everything.
Right.
I mean, it's made not like a maze, but you have to go all over the place and up and down the floors and everything.
It's definitely an
Don't know the-
interesting layout for sure. It's definitely an interesting layout.
And it's used in a lot of Puppet Combo games too, like the nun layout, like with the Larry games and stuff like that. So,
Right. And even the previous game, MCM, was exactly like that. The layout is
yeah,
very similar.
That's very true.
So I
Like,
guess once you
he
learn it, you'll be
reuses
okay. Yes, exactly. Reuses the layout often, definitely.
And this jump too that you were talking about with the cross, like people love that cross.
They do. They do. So there at the end of the hallway, we picked up our last VHS tape. There are a total of 4 VHS tapes that you have to pick up and put individually into each VCR. And on the last one, the cross will drop, and you'll be able to use the cross to climb a wall and escape. So it's looking up for me. It's going relatively well. It's going relatively well.
And that gap that you use the cross like to hop over, you can actually just hop on the side or hop on the wall that's there, right?
Right.
And you can just hop straight over, which obviously isn't allowed in the run, but it is one of those neat little glitches that's there.
Very cool trick. And actually, I was browsing Reddit the other day, and somebody asked if that glitch was fixed in the definitive edition of Nun Massacre, because of course this is not the definitive edition. We're playing on the original version. But yeah, it's actually fixed in the new version of Nun, so you can only do that glitch here on 1.15. So put your last VHR or VHS tape in and wait for the cross. Pick up the cross, and we're pretty much on the home stretch. We're out of here. Let's go, chat. We are gone. We're making our mad dash. So basically, you just want to head back up and take another right turn. I've actually had the nun up here behind me here, and obviously try to knife you and end your run, which is not good. But it looks like we're doing okay here.
Yeah, this is terrifying. I've watched too many Zom runs where he gets to the end of this and then just dies.
Yep.
Oh, it's terrifying.
She can actually show up in the vents as well too, can she?
Oh, a lot, often. Like, too often. So, you use the cross to climb that wall. I have no idea why, but you climb the wall, and you run up through the attic, which is pretty much like the foundation or top of the building, and the nun's already trapped here, so you pick up your gas can, or the gas can on the evil nun. You're gonna take out your lighter. Use your lighter on the nun. Tap the doll, because that is your daughter's, it's your daughter's doll, and his name is Bongo, and time will stop shortly here. Right now. And
Bongo the Clown.
Bongo the
is
Clown.
another. He's another recurring character in the Puppet Combo games.
Right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Nun Massacre. I went over some things. I pretty much had a decent run, and we didn't get attacked by the nun there. So I would consider that extremely, extremely successful. I'm ZomSlays. I had Mild and Dig for some support here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning into Green Gaming. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, I was very worried at the vents, man.
So same as usual. You guys know the drill by now. I don't need to tell you anything.
Yeah. So it's about 13 seconds.
Good luck to me.
Yeah, we'll give it like we'll give it like 10-ish seconds. I didn't time it, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so...
So yeah, we'll just be quiet for a bit and I'll transition.
Yep. Alright, hello everyone, I'm Tim Trollgasm. I'm going to be running Night Watch for you. I'm going to be joined on commentary by Mr. Zomslays and Mr. Diggity Ding Dong.
Yo, yo.
So, time on this one is going to start on first input. Usually we started on the first frame after the fade in, but because this game has no main menu, when we load it, it just takes us straight into the intro sequence. So I'll give Cena a countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, this one is very short, very quickly. It's also got horrible tank controls. So, I'm going to do my best. It is one of the few Puppet Combo games that is actually faster to use controller with because of interacting with certain objects and items and stuff like that. You get like a physical cursor when you're using a mouse, and it's actually just faster to just use the controller because it automatically sets the default to yes. Now, I'm not a fan of using the tank controls on the controller, so I'm actually using a hybrid of controller and keyboard at the moment. It's a very straightforward game. Basically, you have to do task to get to other task. And you saw there that was having to use the mouse because the game decided to spaz out on me. So basically, you're Jim, and you're working at this watchtower you're a park ranger. And as you just saw, our power went out, and now we've come to what is quite possibly the worst part of the game. Tank controls on a very tight staircase. It is very easy to get caught on these stairs. And takes a lot of practice. Okay, and then we can cut the stairs down a bit earlier here, so we don't have to then we get caught on that random leg of the tower that's just floating for some reason. Okay, we're going to go into this shed here, and we're going to pick up a disc, which is a PC game. And then we're going to pick up this gas can so we can refill the generator.
More gas cans.
More gas cans. All the gas cans. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately there's no real major skips in this game. You're essentially blocked from running to the end game until you do every possible task that you have to do at the watchtower. And that involves going up and down the stairs a few times, which is kind of gross.
Here we go again. If you see Tim running into the walls, that's completely natural. If you play this game, you'll know how bad it is. This is actually good game. Like, combine like really awkward camera positions plus these tank controls and using a controller, if you're using a controller, it becomes a nightmare.
Okay.
Still solid though.
Okay, so now we go back up here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in this this floppy disk into this computer here, and it's a very simple game. Essentially, it's like one of those text-based games, and we're basically going through a maze. And the trick is you start going north, and then you just keep going in a direction until it gives you the option of turning around or going into like an east or a west direction. So obviously we went north until we couldn't go north anymore. Now we're going west. It's going to do that until the options are, east or south, and then we obviously go south because that's the only way to go without backtracking. And thankfully you only need to punch in the first letter of each direction. It's kind of like that Simpsons joke with the YES. Okay, then we hear a knock on the door. We go investigate it.
Spooky.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing there. What's going on? Better go downstairs and check it out.
This is what's scary about this run.
Yeah, this is the horror aspect. Yeah. So
stairs.
Night Watch was, and I don't think I mentioned it at the start of the run, is one of the Patreon exclusive Puppet Combo games. So the only way to get this game is to sign up to the Patreon. But it's a really fun game casually. Okay, so we're going to go back in here, and then we're immediately going to turn around and open the door, and then there's a firefighter there who just randomly has an axe and has a crack at us. But, surprise, surprise, it was a dream. Okay, and there are a few different ways in the game. There's actually multiple ways to do that sequence. We're going to go outside now. He's going to put on his raincoat, and then we're going to immediately turn around and go back inside. But going down and investigating that shed is actually the fastest way to do it. Another one involves the tower getting set on fire, and it's a whole thing. Now we just get a call from someone. They're in distress, and now we've done everything that we need to do to actually get rid of that barrier that's stopping us from running to the end of the game. So this is the last instance of the stairs.
Oh. That was just... Oh my god.
Yeah. This is what we're saying, like the camera angles and tank controls and tight spaces, it can be gross.
So we're going out to investigate a SOS call
yes.
from the forest?
Yep. Yeah. And then I went the wrong way. That's what happened. So yeah, now this is... Normally the game would stop you about here and you'd be like, oh, I can't leave my post. But now we get treated to about 2 minutes of hold W to game. But we also get really nice calming music and the sound of rain, so it's like that whole ASMR kind of deal. There is a point where it will branch off into two paths, and in a casual playthrough, you'll see like a picnic basket on the ground. It's kind of flashing, and you'll go, oh, what's that? I better check that out. And that leads you to some random little shack, and there's like all pentagrams and satanic imagery and stuff like that. But we don't need to investigate that. We can just run straight to the campsite. I'm trying to hang as far to Jim's left as possible, just because there's a little section coming up where you can sort of weave in between some of the trees, and it cuts off maybe half a second of time.
You've got to take time saves where you can in this one.
Exactly, yeah.
Otherwise, there's just stairs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can actually run up fairly straight surfaces, as Dig worked out. So these
these mountains.
Yeah.
If you just walk up the side of them, you just zip up the side. Like, I don't know why that wasn't tested, but you can like walk almost just over the mountain. It's so funny. The walls aren't actually walls in this game. There's a lot of indie horror games that are just poorly coded slopes that let you just jump up them. Like Insound Mind was a pretty big game. It's not Puppet Combo, but that game can be torn like inside out just because you can jump up vertical slopes.
Yeah. So this is the part I was talking about now. If you hang to the left of that tree, you can, and not run into the other tree, you can actually cut out just a little bit of time from movement. And so the rain's going to stop in just a moment, because we're getting pretty close to the campsite. I think it's in the next load zone it'll stop. But this part here especially is where you can just like zip up the mountainside. I would show it off, but I'm not going to.
I'm not going to, yeah. Arguably, this is like one of my favorite parts of the run, just because you get away from the tower, and it's just nice and peaceful. You're just running for a bit.
Just to get as far away from the stairs as possible.
As far away from the stairs as possible. Yep. Stairs are disgusting. So yeah, we're almost done with the boring section. So there's I think it's a backpack on the ground there. It's like, oh, what's going on? But we don't need to interact with it. It's just to be like, oh, you're going in the right way, in the right direction.
Oh, the clues.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, rain stops. And then we're just going to keep following this track until we get to the campsite. And there's a barrier stopping us from going further into the woods. Now, to get that barrier to go away, we have to investigate all 3 of the tents that are at the campsite here. Bit of clothing there, so you're like, oh, some serious stuff has gone down. But this is one of the easier Puppet Combo games to learn in terms of routing. The stairs are a bit disgusting, but in terms of like memorizing the run, it's so straightforward. Yeah. And like even your first couple of runs are going to be about 12, 13 minutes. So interact with that one.
Most of these games are just walk to point.
Well, that's
interact,
right. Yeah.
Walk to next point, interact. Not that it's not interesting, but that's just really easy to route.
Yes. Yeah, so there's no like actual glitches in this game that have been found anyway. So we've interacted with all 3. The third one here is like, oh no, there's blood. What's going on? We're just going to sort of float around here for a second until we hear a child calling out for help. So we're going to follow that sound. Time is coming up very soon. As soon as the Driller Killer attacks Jim is when we call time. There is like a bit at the afterwards, but it's just you standing in a cell for 5 minutes or something, 3 minutes, so we don't count that. So time will come up and time. So that was Night Watch.
GG's. Well done.
That was a good run.
Yeah, it was.
That felt really good, yeah. So
that's
yeah.
sub 9.
I don't know. Was it?
It was very close. It was
very close.
What's the world record?
World record is 9:12.
Oh wow! You actually.
Wait, that might have been world record. Oh no, it's close. Oh, it's close.
So close.
What's final time?
9:28. Oh.
Ah, close. Damn.
Yeah.
128. That was good.
Cool. I'm an idiot.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to switch over to another game. So I'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back. So we've got an interesting one for you now. Mild is going to help me on commentary with this one. This is the Booty Creek Cheek Freak. It is much like Bloodwash. It's not technically a Puppet Combo game. It was published on the Puppet Combo Patreon as an exclusive, but it is the same developer as Bloodwash. This one, I can sort of best describe it as a fever dream. The most ridiculous toilet humor you can possibly imagine. It's got an absolute banger of an intro. So the time for this one will start on first movement, but there is some dialogue. There's much like Bloodwash with the waiting around. The intro dialogue is quite long, so we mod the game with this little thing that just kind of speeds up each text section because you can't skip through it. There's no way to like mash through the dialogue. You kind of just have to sit there and wait for it to play out. So you'll see in just a moment that it's just going to be zooming through the dialogue as quickly as we can. You can see there, executive producer. That's old Benny from Puppet Combo.
Man. Yeah, just a couple. Supposed to. Yeah, you know. We're only.
So do you want to explain the premise of this game in just a sec? So time will start in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, would you like to explain the premise of this game? Yeah.
You're camping with your buddy, and you'll see in a second there will be an old man that'll come out, and he'll explain to you about the Booty Creek Cheek Freak and how if you poop on the floor in a certain stall in the bathroom, it'll summon him, and he tells you not to do it, and of course, you know, that's the first thing that your character decides that they want to do.
Okay, so just quickly, Gary, our friend, has asked us to get his thing from the car, which is why we've gone to the car now. And it was found recently by Bruty, who's the current world record holder, that you don't actually need to interact with the car. You can just walk up to it and then turn around and walk back, and it counts as picking up Gary's thing. And then we head back to the camp, and there's a whole bunch of innuendos and all that kind of stuff.
And you can see that he's walking like on the edge of the map and not actually on the trails. It's just quicker you can get faster lines to where you're going.
Thanks for grabbing. Hope it wasn't.
It was bigger than I expected, but it's okay. Who the hell are you?
I got guts. You boys.
Too late for what?
You stupid.
Legend.
I'm talking about.
The what?
Listen to this story. There's an old bat just like anyone. He was trapped on the... He ended up...
Okay.
Can't you see? Dying in such... You're bound... They say he'll come back big.
That's a bit hard.
Gary, look! He's gone.
I'm not, but...
I don't know.
Look.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on. Let's eat some beans and hit...
Oh, God. I'm about to leak brown all over the place.
So you see that mod coming into play just there, just skipping through that dialogue. So as you may have guessed from the fart sound, we need to go to the toilet. So we're gonna head.
Yeah, without the mod, you're sitting there for a very long time.
Yeah,
it's nice for the first like casual playthrough, but after that, when you're trying to run the game, pretty tedious.
So yeah, we're just gonna go through the woods for whatever reason. To get to the bathrooms, we actually have to go through some random house. And the door's locked, so we actually need to interact with a note that talks about where he's hidden the key. So we just interact with this note. We don't want to do that twice. And then it'll mention like 3 spots that it could possibly be, but it's always behind this bookshelf in a chest here in the box. So we've got the key, and now we're
actually open that box without first looking at the note. Like, you have to read the note before you
Yes, that's correct,
with the box.
Okay, so now we're going to head over to the toilets, and much like before, we can actually walk up on the edge here and just save that tiniest little bit of time. Because this is another one of those runs that's very quick. And so any like real time save is great. So we're going to interact with this toilet here, and then we're going to
Oh, that feels better. Now to... Oh, shit! I accidentally pooped on the floor! This isn't good.
There are instances where I think if you don't go far enough into the stall, it doesn't trigger this cutscene, because I've had that happen a few times in practice runs. Mild might have a better idea on what the go is with that.
You have to walk in to actually trigger it, but then you want to immediately walk back out so you can be in the trigger for the next, for with the cheek freak popping up in the mirror. So that'll start almost as soon as you get out of the other cutscene, and then you can walk towards the door, that short fade out before the mirror scene. This saves,
yeah,
you know, a little bit of time.
Yeah. So we're heading back to Gary. And we're going to find out very quickly that the Booty Creek Cheek Freak has beat us to our friend. And it's a whole lot of nope.
Oh God! Gary! He's been de-cheekitated! I've got to get to the car before that freak reaps these cheeks!
Okay, so much like
most
before.
memorable lines in the game.
Yep, definitely.
De-cheekitated.
De-cheekitated, I love it. So we're going to get back up onto this wall in just a sec, much like we did the first time. There is a headphone warning coming up very soon. Apparently, audio mixing is not their forte. So what we're going to do now, the car's gone. So we're going to wait for this little audio part to stop, and we're going to try and place ourselves around where the Cheek Freak is going to spawn. He's going to be in the form of a car, and he's going to hit us, and then it's going to take us to the actual gameplay section of the game. This is technically still the intro of the game.
And normally you would have to, you're supposed to run away from it, or away from the car, but and run back through the level to the toilet. But if you just run into it, it kills you.
Okay, so I'm going to play this hella safe. So the idea of this section is we need to pick up 6 bones, which are the remains of the Booty Creek Cheek Freak, and we need to flush them down the toilet. And so we've got a pretty specific route that we're going. It is very easy to turn yourself around, but you'll also notice there's like a little thing of air freshener down the bottom of the screen here, and that's basically it's a timer essentially. And while you've got the air freshener, the Booty Creek Cheek Freak cannot like see you unless you like directly run into him. Once that runs out, he can smell you and he will just chase you down, and we don't want that. So we try to manage that as best we can. I just got a little jump scare there. So
another thing, that meter is actually, the air freshener meter is actually tied to your FPS. So the higher your FPS, the faster it drops.
Yes.
I found that one out the hard way. I
couldn't
complete the game. I just couldn't. I finally had to cap the FPS, and it changed it. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's really crazy. Yeah, like you can see it's sort of draining a bit. I'm not entirely okay. That's a bit yikes. So yeah, I'm not sure what FPS is like ideal, but we seem to cap it at about 60, and it seems to work mostly fine.
60, I mean 60 works. You can pretty much do the whole thing and only have to pick up maybe one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the lower you go.
Yeah. So time is coming up in just a moment too. As soon as I interact with this toilet, and time. Sorry, finish what you were saying.
No.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, obviously the lower you go, the slower the timer will be, but it gets a little bit rough to play.
Yeah. So that was the Booty Creek Cheek Freak. Very short run, very simple run. Again, another one of those runs that's like technically fairly easy to learn because there isn't a whole lot of like strats to it. It's more just like remembering paths. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. Just wait to see what the final time for that one was, because it was a bit gross in some parts.
Like he was 8 flat.
8 flat, nice. Hell yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I first sub 8 got yesterday, actually, during practice, so that's really good. Okay, so that's Booty Creek Cheat Freak. We're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to switch over to the last run for the showcase, which will be Murder House. So we'll be back momentarily.
See the grains of hope still within you, sweet lost star. Just let me in, let me see your eyes. Do you still hear these rows through those pale sighing lilies? Can you not see her? Can you not touch her and feel her tears? Such a laughter, but it was our home is in the stars, where we left it, lie lost
Right, so we're back. We've got Murder House up there. This category is called No Guns, and as the name suggests, we are not allowed to use any guns. In a casual playthrough, you would normally pick up a handgun and or shotgun, but the only defense item we have for this entire run is a fire poker, and let me tell you now, it is not a strong weapon. Helping me with commentary in this run will be Dig.
Yo, I've also felt the pain of the fire poker.
I'm sure you have, yep. So this one acts essentially like any percent glitchless, except we do the prologue. The prologue is riveting gameplay, let's just say that. So the timer will start when the puppet combo name pops up on screen, so I'll try and do my best to count that in. So 3, hang on, I'm gonna wait for the loading screen. 3, 2, 1, go. So Murder House, much like Night Watch, it is another puppet combo game that is faster by using controller. Gotta love it. And for this exact same reason as what Night Watch is faster for, when you interact with like objects that you're picking up or certain drawers and stuff, it prompts you whether you want to open it or not. And on mouse, you get a physical controller, a physical cursor that you would have to drag down and physically click yes, whereas on controller it just defaults to yes and you can just spam the A button. So in the prologue here, there's nothing too crazy to talk about in the prologue. It's just like essentially getting you used to how the game works. You're running around, and it sets up for the main story as well, obviously, prologue, where, so basically it's set, I think, 3 years before the game takes place. But we're currently playing as Justin, who got a photo with the Easter Bunny and I guess just passed out in one of those little photo booth things and wakes up and the mall's shut. And so we're currently just running around trying to find a way to get out of here. It's very spooky, it's very eerie, but essentially it's like, hey, let's find a key and go to a door. So there's not a whole lot to talk about in terms of like gameplay in the prologue. I will talk very quickly about the perspective. The game, you can play the game in third person fixed camera, much like Night Watch, or in first person. And for the speedrun, it just seems that the first person mode is a lot easier to deal with in terms of movement, because this game does have tank controls, but when you switch to first person, it's kind of like normal first person controls. It doesn't control exactly the same as what it would in the third person perspective, which makes moving around a hell of a lot easier. But the trade-off for that is you don't have as much awareness as to what's going on around you. So like there are points where the killer can just kind of pop up behind you and you wouldn't see it coming because of the perspective that you're in. But in the long run, it does make it a lot easier to get around and saves a bit of time because you're not having to do the horrible tank control movement that you would get.
Yeah, can I just say thank God this game has that he thought to put in FPS mode into this, because
yes.
The same with Dolly. Dolly is not a good control scheme for these games. No. I don't know.
It's one of those things where Dolly is trying to replicate the old like Silent Hill, Resident Evil type thing, which works in a casual setting, but when you're trying to speedrun it, and it's much like Night Watch in that you've got very tight corners and stuff, and it can make things really difficult to move around. Now this part, we're coming up to the end of the prologue. Now in a casual playthrough, you run down this hallway until he's called the Easter Ripper, until he pops up, and then you would run around and you would go through some doors and there's some puzzle solving, and you end up meeting up with Jacksepticeye, and it's this whole thing, but it just takes too long. So what we're going to do is, as soon as we see him, we're just going to head straight for him and let him catch us. It just saves... It's much like how Zom was saying earlier, that you don't need to really do anything with the prologue in Nun Massacre. It's just like wasting time. But it just, for whatever reason, the rules state for no guns that you have to do prologue.
If we headbutt him fast enough, he'll die.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically, hey, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do. To finish the prologue, you have to get caught by the Easter Ripper regardless. It's just how much of the puzzle solving you can get done before he gets you. So in a casual playthrough, you'd do everything and you'd hide under a desk and he would get you. He'd just catch you. That's just how it works. And so that was the prologue, and now we're getting into the main game, which is a bit more of the sort of Resident Evil, our old school Resident Evil style of gameplay. Bit of a banging intro too. All the Puppet Combo games seem to have really like banging intros. They do music well, just not levels.
Yeah.
They skipped that part of the university course.
Couldn't figure it out, so they left it as default.
Yeah. What even is volume? So in the main game, we play as Emma, who is an intern. She's interning for a really, I assume, dodgy and just like low budget news crew. Now in the prologue, Justin has infinite stamina. You can zip around the place and you don't have to worry about it. But we smashed through the dialogue, but Emma actually mentions that she like pulled a hamstring or a tendon or something during some kind of sport practice, and that introduces a stamina mechanic that we need to manage throughout the run. We can't just like gun it the whole time. But there are some strats we can do that will sort of avoid draining stamina too quickly, which we'll explain to you when we get to it. But it's just a little difference between the prologue and the actual main game that they decided to add to it. Because if you've got infinite stamina and you're running from a killer, it kind of makes it too easy, you know?
Makes it too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, present day, 1988. So yeah, it's about 3 years after the events with Justin. And so what's happening is this news crew, this house that they're sort of reporting on is the supposed house of the Easter Ripper, who was like sent to the electric chair after he got caught. And it's like, hey, let's do this whole news report on it. But they find out very quickly that some things are not going well. Just gonna skip through this dialogue. Okay, so our first task is to get into the house, but the doors are locked. So we're going to run around the back of the house, and there's actually a window to allow us to get into the basement. And so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna go back upstairs.
Tiny or something.
Yeah, because we're small, because we're a very small teenage girl, and our boss Gary's a bit of a jerk. And you'll find very soon that like Puppet Combo games are very creative with their names.
Yeah.
So there's Gary, and then Gary was in Booty Creek, and then there's I think 3 or 4 games that have Sarah as a name, and yeah, and Jim, yeah. So he's just asked us to grab all the lighting and sound equipment and stuff from the truck, so we're going to do that. This is an instance where
you... a tweet.
Sorry?
In the chat. It's one of my favorite Puppet Combo related tweets where it's like Puppet Combo games are like your character wears pink socks. Too bad the pink sock murderer is on.
Yeah. That's pretty much
yeah.
That's pretty much how I'm convinced that's how he comes up with his characters.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we just got like what is it? You got this game with the Easter Ripper, and then
you got Womb Ripper and Bloodwash. You got
Bloodwash, Womb Ripper. Yeah.
There's the
Sorry,
go on. There's a few more. So yeah, so we've brought all that stuff in, and now they're going to do a little bit of a report. And coming up is this really annoying thing when using controller that if you're using, you got to use the analog stick, the right analog stick for certain things. And if you are not careful, you can get like a bit of a snapback like that, where
there we go.
Yeah, it actually goes, oh, you've put in an extra input and will actually move you back. Can waste a bit of time doing that. So we've picked up a fuse because there's no power.
The snapback happens because when you flick your analog stick to a certain direction, it'll get flung backwards towards center, but it'll just move over to the left. Like if you're flicking it to the right, it'll come back to the left, but sometimes have too much velocity and then be registered as a left input. And the dead zones are not that big. So it registers as left input, which means you do right and then get left again. It's very frustrating.
Yes. Yeah, it can waste a lot of time. I should mention that with the whole like interacting with the like pickups and stuff like that, the difference between using a controller and a mouse is I think like 0.6 of a second, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when it's for every item that you're picking up, it actually adds up to quite a bit of time save across the whole run.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay, so Dana's thirsty. She's asked us to get a drink of water for her. So we're going to go find a cup and fill it up. Now, you're seeing me sort of spamming the sprint button when I'm going up and down stairs, and that is to try and salvage as much stamina as possible when doing things, because if you're just holding it when going up and down the stairs, you drain it very quickly. So it's just trying to sort of get that little tiny bit extra back as I'm moving around.
Yeah, stamina management is huge in these games because if you run out of stamina, do you like you have to wait a second before you start?
You can still move, but you're walking as slow as possible, so you do have to actually physically stop and let the stamina sort of come back. So at this part, the game, he's like trying to spice up the news story a bit. So he puts you in the bed sheet and makes you pretend to be a ghost. It's going to tell you to run at a certain point, but we're just going to angle ourselves here, and then at the start of this dialogue box, we're going to run. So
and force them to go on a deadly Easter egg
That's
hunt.
earlier than you're meant to, right?
yes, it is earlier, yeah.
Murdered them.
So 2 years is where you can run, but it's at the end of that dialogue box that they expect you to do it. So it saves a couple of seconds.
At home, but I just felt an energy pass by behind me.
Coming up is the worst transition in the game. It's literally facing it's just black screen. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. There we go. It's very hard to...
That wasn't that bad, actually.
That was not bad, yeah. It's pretty hard to time, especially on certain monitors that are like darker. So we got given a key earlier by Dana, so we're now going to try that key on this door that's just here. Cool, decent door. And pick up the flashlight. Now we need to pick up the flashlight in order to spawn the next item, which is in the basement, and that will allow us to progress. It's it's a crowbar. Sorry.
Under the stairs, there's a save point mechanic there.
Yes.
But since you're speedrunning, you don't actually ever save the game because
that's
it's,
right, yeah.
it's too slow.
Yeah.
And that comes up later on because this game, like other public combo games we've seen, is very finicky, and if you die, then it can be just over for you.
Yeah. So we picked up that crowbar, which spawned after getting the flashlight, and opened up the dryer, which had a doorknob in it, which is for this door here. Sometimes if you go through that door really quickly, you don't get that text box that I got, and it will actually spawn later on in the game. So we just picked up the fire poker. Normally in PB attempts, I would wait until the boss fight to actually equip that, but because it's a marathon type setting, and the Easter Ripper, much like every other Puppet Combo villain, can just spawn and ruin your day. So we're going to be ready.
Massacre, Meat Cleave, and Mutilator.
As we saw Yep. So we're going to go up here. We're going to let everyone know that someone's trashed our car, so we can't go and get our pizza lunch. And that's going to make Dana very upset, and I don't blame her. So we get this unskippable little report here.
There is a glitch if you're doing glitched categories where you can turn around as soon as you enter this room and then exit before the cutscene starts. I think that skips this entire section.
It does. It allows you to move around while the cutscene's taking place, and there are a couple of times in the run where you can do that. But given that this is technically glitchless rules, we don't get that luxury, so we have to play the game as intended as possible.
So we get to see Dana's beautiful face.
Shoutouts to Dana.
Intern girl.
You know what?
Where the hell's Tommy?
That's the Dana. She deserves it.
She does. She works hard. Okay, so we've just held the camera there because Tom went to go to the toilet and he hasn't come back. So after we do that report, Gary's like, find out where Tom is because he's not doing his job. So we're going to go back to the basement. If it hasn't worked out by now, this game is a lot of go upstairs, do thing, go to basement, do thing, go upstairs, do thing, go to basement, and repeat. So Tom's found this key, and he's like, I don't know what to do with it, you take it. And this is where the game becomes a horror game. It becomes scary. Because, much like every other Puppet Combo guy, he can just spawn. So, poor Dana's being chased.
We don't care apparently our characters are motionless.
Yeah. F in the chat for Dana. Okay. Now we're going to run up here. And if we get to this door fast enough, we have to get an extra cutscene. And it kind of despawns the Easter Ripper. So if you mess around and then go up here, you don't get this cutscene. She's actually only saying that because we got up there so quick that the Easter Ripper was like, well, I don't know where she went. And just goes away. So we've picked up a letter opener, and we're going to go back down to the basement, and we're going to use that letter opener on a specific drawer.
Because Puppet Combo fetch quests.
Yes. How do I make game longer without actual content? Okay, so we're going to use that here. And that's going to give us a magnet, which we're going to use to get another key to go back upstairs with.
Yeah, naturally. Imagine you're in this situation. Why would you pick up that magnet?
That's right, yeah. Hey, hell yeah, this magnet's got to be used for something.
You know there's a hole in the floor.
Well, I guess, I mean, oh yeah, I mean, I can't imagine her being that observant if it was like real life, you know, but obviously in a game setting, you've seen that hole before because when you play it casually, because you're actually investigating everything. So as you can see, this part here, I'm sort of like managing my stamina as best I can because it's a long sequence where you don't actually get a chance to really stop. Yeah, so we're gonna open this door, and this is my favorite death scene coming up because it's literally a JPEG. Gary gets what he deserves. And also, when the scene starts, if you notice that the Easter Ripper isn't even actually walking, he just kind of slides in, and then it plays the animation. So it's really just goofy animation. I love it. So Gary's dead. We're going to pick up this black light, which is just randomly under a mattress for some reason. Okay, and then we're going to go back up here to where we avoided him last time. Sometimes he can be waiting for us up here. He likes to camp a bit sometimes. Let's switch this out. Okay, and that sort of lights up this area. Now that that's lit up, we can actually move this this set of drawers here and go down using the dumbwaiter to get down into the basement. The basement has like a secret room, which he does unspeakable things, so we're not going to mention that. Okay, then we're going to pick up this rope for later on.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to head back to, this is the main area of the basement.
That door was previously locked, so you couldn't go into it, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you have to lock it from the other side after you pick up the thing. So we're going to find this tape on the ground now. We're like, oh, better pick that up, because, you know, got to get a VHS tape when there's a killer running around. Now, at this point, the Easter Ripper is actually despawned until after we interact with this weird spider thing. Okay, and now we're going to investigate these corpses, and they've got eggs in them for some reason. It's part of his little game that he likes to play with his victims. And we're not trying to not walk into a wall.
Because he's the Easter Bunny, you got to find all the eggs.
Yeah, it's Easter egg hunt. So we're going to put this tape in, and we're going to go, oh, look, we're going to work out that the Easter Ripper has killed Tom. And that's why the tape was where it was, and it sort of gives us a clue as to where we need to go next, essentially. So it's like, you'll see the Easter Ripper come over here, and he'll do something with the piano. And it's like, oh.
Ooh.
What do we do now? Jeez, I wonder what that could be. Okay, and then we're going to use that rope we picked up earlier on this shelfie, and that's going to expose that hole behind it, which will allow us to get into the bathroom, which is actually one of those rooms that is locked, and the only way to unlock it is to get from the inside and unlock it from the inside. And Easter Ripper can spawn in this room, and it's the worst when he does. Okay, we're good. Okay, so that was the real estate agent that was supposed to let us in at the start of the game.
That's why we had to go through the vent.
That's yeah.
We didn't have the key.
Okay.
Playability.
Okay, so if you interact with that too fast, it sometimes doesn't register, but then there are other instances where if you wait too long between playing notes, it doesn't register, so you got to be like pretty spot on with your playing. I did hit a bum note at the start, but because it was a long enough time to reset, so we've put the 4 eggs in there, and that's unlocked the exit, so we're getting to the end game now. So we're going to go back through that dungeon area in the basement.
There was a good chance we would have encountered the
Easter Ripper up there. He can spawn in that section with the piano, and that's a mad run killer. Yeah. So yeah, we've just found this secret passage that's now unlocked, and I'm gonna try and manage my stamina a little bit here because it's a bit gross. Okay, and now we find ourselves in this greenhouse that we would have very easily brushed past when we were running to the window earlier. And so now we're coming up to the final boss. Now there's an interesting mechanic with the fire poker in this, that you can't spam attack. You have to actually drop your aim, because you have to hold aim and then attack. You have to drop your aim and walk back a couple of steps to reset being able to actually swing the fire poker. And we're going to hit him probably a dozen or so times.
This is really tough. It's really precise, and he can screw you over really easily. So this is a major one killer.
He has a very...
We don't have a save here. So
Yep.
if he dies, it's over.
He has a very disgusting hitbox. Like that, as we saw. Okay, so time is coming up. That's very close. Time is coming up when the cutscene change.
Yep.
And time.
GG, that was really good.
Oh my god. that
was
last couple of hits were a bit rough. That was almost GG. Much like most Puppet Combo games, you get 3 hits and then you're dead. So we were very lucky that we didn't get hit that 3rd time. In PB attempts, when you're trying to not play as safe, you would probably intentionally take a couple of hits because it's a bit riskier. But yeah, it can be over very quickly.
I felt that little rush of panic at the end.
My heart's racing at the moment. I was just like, oh my god. So that was Murder House.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna switch to another card, and we're all gonna say a few things. But that's all the games we have for you today. So I'll let Sin take over.
All right, everybody, welcome back. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for everyone coming by. Let's let the runners do their outro.
Who's going first?
Plez.
Oh.
Plez can go first, yeah.
Okay, so we are all part of the Indie Horror Speedrun Discord, so go check that out. Go check out Green Gaming Discord, and you can check out my YouTube. It's Pleasantly GG. There's just a bunch of speedruns, random stuff, old games, anything you'd like there. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Diggity. I ran Bloodwash. It was really good being on here. I had a really good time. I hope you guys did as well. As Plez said, we're the Indie Horror Speedrun Discord. I might chuck the Discord link in a second here. We just turned a year old, actually. A few days ago is our anniversary. We run much more than Puppet Combo, as Plez said, and hopefully we can showcase more of that stuff in the future. And I think, Zom, you want to talk about the AVP2 thing?
Let's wait on that. Let's wait on that for sure. Yeah.
Go on.
My name is Dom Slays. I ran Meat Cleaver Mutilator and Nun Massacre. Huge shout out to everybody who came through, showed love tonight. Make sure you join Indie Horror Speedrun Discord. Make sure you join Green Gaming Discord. Make sure you show Green Gaming some love for putting these events on for you guys. They're really supporting a wonderful cause. Make sure you show them some love for real. You can find me on all platforms at Zom Slays. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. Huge shout out to everybody that ran alongside me. You guys did excellent. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm Tim Trogasm. I ran the last 3 games. Yeah, again, as the other boys have said, huge shout out to Green Gaming for letting us do this thing. It's I reached out to them probably a couple of months ago because I'd seen some of their work on the last marathon that they did, and I felt it was something that we really wanted to be a part of. And all the boys, we all think that they're great causes that they're running for. So I hope you guys enjoyed everything that we did for you guys today. We thought Puppet Combo was probably the gateway to all the indie nonsense that we like to do in the Discord. Because much like the other boys said, it's a lot more than Puppet Combo. There's lists upon lists of games that we actually run in that Discord. And we hope that Green Gaming will allow us to come back and collaborate with them in the future, because I know I had an absolute blast doing this. If you want to catch more of my stuff on all my platforms, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, it's Tim_Trollgasm. I also recently started using a Twitter, which is the same handle, Tim_Trollgasm. So you'll find me on all of those. I do a lot more than just indie horror games, though. I do a lot of the Resident Evil, Evil Within type speedruns as well. So, but there is a fair bit of indie stuff in there. But yeah, huge shout out to everyone that came and hung out and goofed off in chat, and the boys for bringing their A games. As you saw with a couple of the runs, the puppet combo speedruns can be quite unforgiving. They literally take no prisoners, but they are very, very fun to run. Yeah, thanks to Sin for hosting this thing too, for doing all the behind the scenes work and running the timer and the transitions and getting the streams to work.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't have been able to do it without Sin, so huge shout out to Sin. I think that's about it from me.
Mild?
Yeah, I didn't run any games tonight. My internet's not capable of even streaming, but I played most of these games and I've ran most of them. So
You found most of the glitches you saw.
Mild is an absolute legend.
Legend.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, if there's a game and there's no glitches found at that point in time, I guarantee by the end of that day, Miles will have found at least one or two.
That is where I succeed, is in finding the glitches.
Yeah. Also, just being a great person in our community, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this though. It was
awesome.
Thank you again.
It was a lot of
for
fun.
having us out. It was so much fun.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
GG's.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a good game to you all. Thank you so much for Tim, first off, reaching out and making this happen, organizing the whole thing. It's just as important that you did all the work getting this together as me putting it on. But we would love to see you all come back, or any other indie horror speedrunners come back. We are running a marathon here in October. It's over at the Angus link. I'll post that again in the chat so that anyone who would like to sign up, please go visit this link and go do that, because we need players, we need people. We can't raise money without you guys running, so please come sign up.
I'm so down.
Well, I gotta submit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I gotta show off Aliens vs Predator 2.
Ooh. That's an hours of content right there.